What's up, LTD addicts? Dave here, back again with another lifetime deal review. This time we are looking at PromptEngine over on AppSumo. Now, this deal is only 29 bucks, which is one of the cheapest AppSumo deals I have seen in a long time. The idea here is fairly simple. You enter in your ideas for prompts, and then PromptEngine crafts them into finely engineered, honed prompts that can, stand up with the best prompt engineers in the world. Well, that's kind of the idea anyway. How good is it? How much does it really improve your prompting? We are going to find out as I review the tool right now. So you can see here 3 different pricing plans available. You're not going to spend more than $87 for this tool. So pretty cheap, but is it worth it? Let's find out. So here's the tool. This is what it looks like. And I've got a bunch of tabs open here with different LLMs. I've been testing it out a little bit ahead of time. So we've got this generate section here. And the idea with generate is you simply give it an idea, like a one-line idea, and then it will output a full-blown prompt. Now, that right there, I think raises some questions because most people, in my opinion, are likely using LLMs in this capacity where they just give it a very simple idea and then they rely on the LLM to output something incredible. And these days, things like Claude and Grok and ChatGPT and the latest versions are so good that you can often just get by with that. But leading up to this point in history, there's been this entire movement of prompt engineering. And it doesn't take much more than a Google search to find out the structure of a prompt, that if you want to get the best results or results in a particular format, you need to cue the LLM how you'd like it to respond. And they all kind of involve similar things like give it a role. You are a software engineer. You are a therapist. You get the idea, and then you give it specific instructions, a format for it to follow, some context, what is the situation that is leading up to this prompt, some examples of other similar situations, and then finally you ask it your question. That's the prompt structure that we see over here. But there's lots of variations of this. Some are more complex, some are even simpler. But basically, what PromptEngine is going to do for us is take our very simple idea and then just give it some structure. But does that really make a difference in today's day and age? Let's find out. So I just wrote this idea of write a guide on getting Minnesota lawns ready for winter. It's fall here in Minnesota. Things are going to get brutal soon. So I can optimize for a particular model here. I'm going to use Claude. I have a paid Claude account I am logged into. So I'm going to go ahead and generate the prompt here. So you can see I just wrote a very simple one-line sentence, and then it's going to go ahead and actually give me a full-blown response. Like, this feels more like a response from an LLM than it does a prompt, right? It feels more like I used ChatGPT because it actually gave me the steps. So that's very interesting. So what I'm going to do is actually run my prompt, my original prompt, through Claude. Let's just paste that in here, and we're going to see what Claude comes up with without doing any sort of improvement. And then I'll run it again with the improved prompt that we got from the tool. So just for context, I am using Claude 4. I do have thinking turned on, so the responses might be a little bit slow, but you can see here, this is a very, very thorough response from just a simple one-line statement. It's even creating an artifact for me. The difference with the generated prompt is it's set to write a guide and then include specific steps. Then it gave me an output format with some examples of what that output should look like. So I'm going to copy the improved prompt. We'll create a new chat in Claude. I'm just going to paste that in and we'll see what happens. I still have thinking turned on, and here we go. It is now creating the improved output. So it is following that structure that PromptEngine created. If that was important to me that I got an output in a specific structure, well, this would definitely be an improvement. If I didn't really care and I just wanted some advice on how to improve my lawn, well, I think the first answer is going to suffice. So this probably is going to work better for people in legal fields and engineering and technology where you need to have specific formats followed. I don't know that it would matter as much for things like blog writers. I mean, I think that I actually got a shorter answer with the original prompt. Not that longer is always better, but just glancing at it, I didn't get the artifact. It goes through all 9 steps here. But I mean, look at this original response. It is at least as detailed, if not a little bit more. All right, so that is the generate section where you can take your ideas and then get a nicely structured prompt for an LLM. Is it worth it? That's debatable. Let's move on to the next tool, which is called the improve tool, where you give it a prompt and then it improves that prompt. All right, so I just wrote a prompt that's a little bit longer than I said to write an outline for a guide on self-hosting email. And I said to include setup, tools, maintenance, authentication, deliverability. I asked for a markdown in the output and to use the most popular tools, talk about hosting and just basically a general detailed setup. So let's see what it does to improve this prompt. This is probably a lot more like how I would prompt things, where I'm just kind of rambling, if I'm honest, like here's all the things that are on my brain, clear this out and organize it for me. And it did a pretty good job of this. I wonder if I couldn't just ask an LLM to do that in the first place. But yeah, overall, this looks like pretty good. I've got output format, should be in Markdown, focus on most popular tools. All right, let's go ahead and see what happens. This time I'm going to use Google Gemini, and I'm just using Gemini 2.5 Flash. I am not logged in here, although I do use Gemini quite a bit. I think it's a great model. Let's go ahead and run this through Flash and see what happens. All right, so here's our output. It looks pretty good. We've got choose a hosting provider, domain registration, server configuration. Then we've got some specific tools that it recommends: Postfix, Dovecot, then some webmail clients, Roundcube, failed to ban. Yeah, so we've got a pretty detailed setup process here. I'm happy with that. And now how does that compare to my unimproved prompt? Let's just create a new chat. It's gonna make me clear this unless I sign in, but we'll just have to remember what it looked like. And I'll paste in my just basic, it's cutting it off here, but this is the basic version of my prompt, and we'll see what it generates. It actually opened this up inside of the editor. It's weird how the results are kind of better with a simple prompt. I got signed out. Let me try to save this by signing in. All right, it deleted my chat. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paste this in again. I was using Flash before, so we're gonna switch back to Flash, and I will paste this in and we'll see what it comes up with. Yeah, it gave me a 5-step process again because I gave it 5 steps before, and overall it's very detailed, covers everything that you need to know if you wanted to write this type of guide. But there is one more tool left, and it could save everything. It could be worth it. I remember when image generation was first a thing, and at that point, we really needed these types of tools because you had to have a pretty elaborate prompt in order to get a good result. I mean, they were quite bad, but it was just cool that anything could be generated out of seemingly nothing. So what we've got here is all of these little drop downs or these disclosure triangles where you can basically input certain settings, and then it'll give you the prompt over here on the right. So we start off with a scene. Let's say I wanted to do a modern interior, and I want that to be, how about hyper realistic? And the subjects, I can actually add subjects in here. They can be foreground, middle ground, or background, and then left, center, or right. So I'll say middle ground and over on the right. There's also a description field here, which looks like it is required. I'm just gonna say a husband holding the door for his wife as they go out the door. I'll hit add subject. Now for size, I can choose a resolution. I'm gonna do a portrait here, kind of, like it was shot on a mobile phone. And let's go ahead and choose, how about eye level? You can see the prompt updating over here to the right. Now we've also got distance here, which is a little bit confusing because we set the distance on the subject as well, but I guess that's the distance from the subject, and then this is the overall distance. So I will do a full shot, and then the lens, I want it to be, how about just a standard lens? Now we can copy this to the clipboard, and now I'm back in Gemini. I'm just gonna paste this into Gemini here, and we'll see what it creates. So really the only thing I thought of in this entire prompt, other than just clicking boxes, was a husband holding the door for his wife as they go out the door. So I'm thinking like they're going out for the evening. Now here's the picture that was generated, and it looks more like you're greeting someone here. So not super pumped with this result. I'm gonna try this again. So I just improved the prompt a little bit. I said a husband holding the door open for his wife as they go out for the evening. All right, we'll generate this again. I did switch over to 2.5 Pro. I don't know if that makes a difference when you're doing image image generation in Gemini. I think it kind of just has the same output, but we'll find out here. All right, here it comes. It is generating the image. All right, certainly better, but it still kind of looks like someone's coming in. In this case, they're coming in off the balcony. They're definitely not leaving at this point. Look how high up they are. So yeah, overall, not super awesome. Now, what if I just describe this scene in my own words? How would Gemini respond? Okay, so no style, no context, nothing. I just said a husband holding the door open for his wife as they go out for the evening. I'm gonna turn on create images here and we'll see what we get. All right, there we go. We're kind of stuck with the same problem where it looks like you're greeting someone at the door, but the output is not distinctly different. Obviously, the home here looks maybe slightly more dated than the modern minimalist aesthetic that we had before, but I think that's a pretty easy fix. I could just say, make the house more modern and the husband is leaving too. All right, there we go. It's very, very similar. A modern house. We cannot possibly get that wife to be leaving the house. She's always coming in. But yeah, overall, it's not really doing a whole lot. All right, there you go. That is PromptEngine. For me, it's personally not worth it. I'm pretty happy with the results I get from most of my prompting as is. And when I need more, I can always ask it to give me more right inside of the LLM. So I'm gonna skip this one. I'll give it a 4.3 out of 10. Go ahead and pick it up with my link in the description if you like. Or what you might want to do is check out Last Call, which is currently running until September 12th. So if you're an AppSumo Plus member, this will definitely interest you as they've brought back some of the most popular tools of the last few months. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you've enjoyed it, hit that like button, get subscribed if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next review.